Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we have a special guest here. Hi all. Nice to meet you. Ooh, where are you going? So here today we are with Andrea because he faced a small critical issue with his motorbike, an Italian beauty. Let's have a look on the bike. So this is the beauty. It's amazing. It's an Italian brand Ducati. It's a Multistrada.
Yeah, 1200, 1.2 liters, S version with electric suspensions and many other features, all stock.
Why are we here today? What's the problem?
Because I have an issue with the brakes of this bike, especially with the rear brakes, and I try to brake, but no way, the wheel doesn't stop. Also on the front brake I have some troubles because it is not an optimal brake. So I guess we must have a look. Also.
That's spongy.
Yeah.
So let's see how the brakes on a motorbike works. Watch this clip. This is a braking system. So we have the brake pump, we have the brake caliper, and then we have finally the brake pads that are creating the friction on the brake disc. To brake, we apply a force F0 to the brake lever. This force F0 is converted to force F1 on the main piston of the brake pump that is having a section we call A1. The piston gives the pressure to the fluid, to the oil, that goes to the two pistons that are present on the caliper and having another surface A2. And this is creating the force, F2 that is used for the braking. And the force F2 is equal, thanks to the Pascal law, to F1 multiplied by the ratio of the two surfaces. So the surface A2, the one of the caliper piston, divided by the surface of the main brake pump piston. So in our case, with this is, for example, let's consider the rear brake of the bike. The main piston of the Ducati is 11 mm, and the section, the diameter of the caliper one is 34 mm. So it means that when we apply a force F0, or better to say force F1, it will lead to a 10 higher force on the brake pads. But to make it working, we must secure that the pressure 1 is equal to the pressure 2, and that means that we must have a fluid that is not compressible, and that means this must not have any air in it. As there are many moving parts, and as we have also the reservoir tank for filling the fluid, that leads to have many sealing on the circuit. So each piston is having a seal. The hoses that are connecting the main brake pump to the brake caliper are having as well some seals. So, and even the cap of the reservoir tank is having a sealing. So air can come into the circuit from any of the sealing if they are not in perfect shape. Here are the tools that we are going to use. So we have a vacuum pump that will make easier the bleeding, because what we are going to do today is the bleeding of this braking system. We have some fresh oil, hydraulic oil, specially designed for brake. It's labeled DOT4. Typically it's available as DOT3, DOT4, DOT5 and 5.1, etc.
Between DOT3 and 4, the only difference is the temperature that the oil could bear, and they can even potentially mix together. What is very important to notice is DOT5 cannot be mixed with any other because it's silicone based, so it's a totally different kind of oil. If you want to know about something more about different sorts of oils and characteristics, just write on the comment and we will make a dedicated video. Then, this oil is very aggressive, so if you flush it into the paint, wheels, whatever, it's very corrosive, so it's important to clean it immediately. For that reason, we have here some clean water, but also brake cleaner. So this is very powerful cleaning product. Thanks, Andrea. And of course, we need an 8mm wrench. Now, let's start to do the job. How this is working? We have the pump that basically, by sucking, create a vacuum, and it will aspire all the oil and air from the circuit. So this makes really fast the bleeding. So our vacuum pump have to be connected to the caliper. Each caliper is having one connection that is dedicated for the bleeding. So we are just going to put this one here with an 8mm spam wrench. We are going to untight it just a bit, not entirely, just a bit, just to spill out all the liquid and the air. As you see, there are many differences on the braking system, especially on the front line, depends on the bike. Most of these bikes are having two calipers, one per side, and each of them is having his bleeding valve. How they are connected could change. In principle, you should bleed first the last caliper, so the one that is having the longer cable, longer hose, and then the second one. To do a perfect bleeding of the system, and this is what we are going to do today, the best way is to remove the caliper. As you saw, we have a reserve of oil where we have here the two pistons. So the best way is to pull the piston to the totally internal side end in order to empty all these chambers, and in that way we will secure that there will be no oil, no air in the oil circuit at all. But today we have just to make a quick fix. The bike is going to have a proper service in 1 month, so let's just bleed without dismounting the calipers. Why I've shown you that we have some fresh oil? Because we must secure that we'll not empty the reservoir tank. So what we are going to do before bleeding, we have to open the tap and constantly secure that we have sufficient liquid in order to not introduce air from here to the system. Let's start from the rear brake. So as mentioned, we have to open the reservoir oil. And as you can see here, there is a rubber seal, because as we mentioned when we explain how it works, it must be a sealed circuit. So this is securing that no air is coming in from this part of the circuit. As you can see, the position here is not the most convenient one. So this bike is equipped with ABS, and this will mean also that we are going to have a bit longer way from the pump. Here we are, from the pump to this bleeding valve, because we have this pipe that do not go straight forward to the brake pump like all the bikes without the ABS, but this is going to the ABS module, and then from the ABS module to the pump. Some bikes use a software to facilitate the bleeding, but with the software or without the software simulation of the ABS module, you will in any case be able to bleed the system. In the most complex cases, eventually you have to disconnect a bit, untie a bit the brakes hoses that goes to the ABS module, but I duly believe today we do not need to do that. Let's continue. So to be on the safe side, we will put here some protection, and surprise surprise, the rear brake is having not an 8mm wrench but at 11. So now we are just going to release a bit that one, just a bit, okay, and now we are going to just connect this hose and let's put it on a steady position, and we will pump out, and we are expecting to come out oil with air bubble in the pipe, and we have to continue to bleed at the same time, secure that we are not running out of oil on the reserve tank, and we have to bleed till we don't see any more bubbles coming out. There is really a huge amount of air in the circuit.
Now I understood why I wasn't able to brake.
It's time to fill it a bit of oil there. One important thing, as you can see, as we open it, is expected to be sealed, because this oil is what is called hydroscopic. So once you open it, you have to use it, and then the rest don't save it, because even just with this plastic top, some humidity can contaminate the oil. So once you open it, use it, and then it's gone. A practical trick to fill the tank without having any drop of oil to flush all around is not fill in that way, but on this horizontal way. In that way you can control much better the tank. In this case we are a bit forced to do it because there is a really lack of space, but you see, if you do something like that, it's very easy. Let's see if the situation is a bit improved, and as you can see, it's still too slow, but you can see that the pump is working. A trick to really perform the perfect bleeding is after you finish it, you put some weight over here for over the night, and in that way all the remaining hair is expected to, by gravity, to go up and then remain into the tank reservoir oil. Now let's have the final touch. We bleeded all the system, so as you can see, the oil in the pipe is the new one, so it means that we have flushed the entire system. And now for the final touch, just to secure all the bubbles are out, we will do something like that. We will close the valve, create some vacuum, and then once we have the vacuum, just release a bit, and then once we have no more vacuum, we close the oil. As you can see, on this pipe you will not have full the pipe of oil, but if you can see here, in this part, there is no bubble in the oil that is flying. So it means that hopefully now there is no more circuit oil air into the circuit. But the final test is, let's have a look on the brake pedal. So you remember before it was going totally down, no braking at all. Let's see now. Now it brakes. Rear brake now fixed. And to secure that we are cleaning up everything pretty well, let's use some brake cleaner. As we were saying before, there are two calipers in the front, And you see, this in this version, it works like that. We have one pipe that from the pump or the ABS module goes to this caliper, and from here the oil goes to the next one. So, as mentioned, the best way to proceed is to start from the latest one, that in our case is not that one, but is the one on the right side. Same procedure as before. Remove the top. An alternative way to do it is to pump, then keep it braked just a bit, release a bit, and then stop. Pump, release a bit, stop. This is the way to do it without having the vacuum pump. Now the brake is good solid. You can see here there are no anymore any bubble, and it's bright, so we have replaced the entire oil on the circuit. Job done. Don't forget to subscribe and place a like if you like this content. More to come, stay tuned and ciao ciao!